What's going on, baseball fans? How are you doing tonight? We got a lot to talk about. The hot stove is cooking. Let's get to it. And what is going on, baseball fans? Hello. 276 people in the chat to start things off. Are you kidding me? I think that might be a record. I think that's a record. I don't think we've had that many people to start things off. You guys are awesome. I tip my espresso to all of you. I'm going to need this because we have a lot to talk about. Wow, I was waiting for this last night while we were all just sitting here waiting for something to happen, which thank you to everyone for coming out last night. A big day yesterday, lockout over. I don't think anyone's even talking about the lockout anymore because there's not enough time to talk about anything CBA related because we have, I think I got 13, 14 things to get to. I got 14 or 13, maybe 15 different slides that I got to transition to tonight. We got too much to talk about. So, I would love to sit here and say hello to everyone in the chat, but holy cow, you guys are amazing. There's just too many people in here to just go through one by one. So, everyone, hello. Hope you had a good Friday. Hope you had a good week. Hope everyone's ready for a good weekend. Spring training starting, or spring training players are reporting on Sunday. Not starting quite yet, but we got a lot to talk about. Freddie Freeman, that's starting to come out now into the rumor mill. We got Carlos Correa. We got Trevor Story. We got a little story on Trevor Story. Oh, look at that. Carlos Rodon, he signed today. Man, there's just a lot. I can't even keep track of it. How the heck my potato brain is going to handle all of this tonight, I have no idea. But before I do get started, if you are new, we have been gaining a lot of traffic. We're right at around 19,000 subscribers. Wow, what a past few days that we've had. We've gained over 1,000 subscribers in the last few days alone. So if anyone else is new, think about hitting that subscribe button. Hit that like button for me, everyone. I want to get to, let's get to 1,000 likes tonight. Can we get to 1,000 likes tonight? I think we got to 1,000 likes last night. Can we do it again? Can we do it for a second straight night? Hit that like button for me, everyone. It really does help get it out there into the algorithm. Hit the bell notification as well. That way you get notified every time I go live, anytime I upload anything. And hey, share the stream any way you can. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Put it on, I don't know, wherever the heck you want. Go put it on your school website or work website or whatever the heck you want to put it. Go to grandma's house down the road. Put it over there. I'm actually going to share it right now. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to post this on Twitter. If anyone's got a Twitter, think about sharing it on Twitter. Let's get more baseball fans in here. Hold on 1 second. I am tweeting it now as we speak. Come talk some MLB Hot Stove. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. It has been shared. It has been shared. So, everyone, let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about. If anyone does see anything, an actual big story, and I'm just sitting here and I'm talking about something, try your best to notify me in the chat. Like I said, my potato brain can only handle so much. I am seeing a couple of you saying Morosi. What did Morosi say? Oh, Heyman just tweeted. I can't handle this right now. Oh, my goodness. Let's just get to it here. John Heyman with a tweet, and my Red Sox are there. What is going on here? So John Heyman, this just popped up about 20 seconds ago. Mariners Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox among the hottest pursuers of talented all-around outfielder Seiya Suzuki. Oh man, here we go. Now we got Seiya Suzuki getting involved. I might have to update the title here. John Morosi tweeted 1 minute ago, and this is actually going to be my first story of the night, so this is a nice transition here. Freddie Freeman negotiations expected to reach a conclusion in the next 24 hours and possibly by the end of the night. Dodgers have made a strong offer, and it is unclear if the Braves will match it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be surprised if it's a big offer. I don't know if the Braves are going to match it. The Braves have not been known historically to give big contracts. So one contract that comes to mind, Chipper Jones back in 2002. At the time, it was a 5-year, $90 million deal. With inflation today, that would be worth $35 million per year. So they have given out the big bucks before to Chipper Jones. Can they do it again with Freddie Freeman? It hasn't happened a lot, though. It has not happened a lot. Will they consider Freddie Freeman, at that level of Chipper Jones? I do. I think he is. We're just going to have to wait and see. Will the Braves want to pony up the money? If they don't, I think he's going to the Dodgers. That's where I've been thinking the whole time. We're going to have to wait and see. So, but this is a big one. This just happened. This just got reported here. John Heyman. This was about a minute ago now. Let me refresh here. About a minute ago, John Heyman. 2 minutes ago, Mariners, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox among the hottest pursuers of Seiya Suzuki. MLB Nerds, I don't know if anyone follows that account. He put out there today that the Angels were also in. I'm not sure who his sources are. He heard something about Clayton Kershaw going back to the Dodgers before anyone else reported that. So I don't know. I'm not sure who his source is, but we're going to have to wait and see if the Angels end up getting in on that as well. So let's get to our first story here. Let's get to the first story. We pretty much just introduced it, but Freddie Freeman, it's going to be really interesting to see what he ends up doing. So I definitely think there is a very good chance that he goes to the Dodgers. We're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening here. I'm not sure, but it's going to be really interesting. Again, I wonder, do the Braves come in at the last second and say, all right, let's go. We're going to pony up the big bucks. We're going to bring you back, Mr. Freddie Freeman, Mr. Frederick. But let's get to the story here. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to put the music on for you guys. Here we go. Got the vibes going. Okay, so let's get to it here. So, like I said, Dodgers reportedly making a strong push for Freddie Freeman. We just saw the other tweet a second ago from Morosi. So, again, I will not be surprised at all. Let me turn up this music just a little bit. I think about 34. I think that'll be a good spot. 34 for David Ortiz. Why not? 464 people in the chat. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out tonight. You have all been amazing in the last few days coming out to the streams. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, everyone. We got all the hot stove news tonight. And anything that breaks, we're live. So we'll be able to react if anything happens. So let's pull up the Dodgers on Fangraphs. Let's go to their depth chart. Freddie Freeman just makes so much sense. He makes so much sense for the Dodgers because they just lost Corey Seager, good left-handed bat, going to the Rangers. They had Max Scherzer. They did not bring him back, so that's just more money to play with. They are over. Well, actually, are they over the luxury tax now? They're what, 20 million over it? So they are over. I think they're into the second tier, I believe, of the tax. So it's going to be up to them. What do they want to do? They do have contracts coming off the books after this year. Again, they did just bring back Kershaw, so that raised their payroll up 17 more million. We'll get to Clayton Kershaw here in a little bit. But you do have Blake Training coming off the books. Muncy will come off the books. What will happen with him? Daniel Hudson's going to come off the books. So, that's about, what do we got here? Okay. Bleacher Report saying same thing that Heyman just said about Seiya Suzuki. So, but you got, sorry, actually, these are all club options. I apologize. So they could come off the books if they don't want to exercise those options. Andrew Heaney's going to come off the books. And, Kershaw, 1-year deal. What's going to happen with him next offseason? So, I'm very surprised about Kershaw. I really thought he was going to go to the Rangers, man. I really did. Then you got David Price coming off the books as well. So they definitely have a lot of payroll opening up. So no surprise to see them go hard after Freddie Freeman. We're going to have to wait and see. But again, he makes a lot of sense to their lineup. He's essentially replacing Corey Seager in that lineup. They're in win now mode. They have more than enough talent on this team to win a World Series. So they are clearly in win now mode. So adding Freeman, you can move Muncy over to second base. Chris Taylor, he essentially just moves into that super utility spot at that point. So he can just bounce around wherever and get some playing time that way. You also have the designated hitter spot too. So I don't think it's going to be difficult to get Chris Taylor in and out of that lineup. So Freeman makes a ton of sense for the Dodgers. Now, the only question for the Braves, who do they have? As of right now, you don't really have a replacement for him. As of right now, Orlando Arcia is your replacement at first base. Now, you definitely could go after Matt Olson. We'll get to him here in a little bit. We got a lot to get to tonight. But you definitely could go the Matt Olson route. Could you go for Anthony Rizzo? That's definitely possible. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, could you even, I don't know if the Braves would do it. Could you go after, you're not going to, it's going to be really hard to replace Freeman's bat, but could they get creative? Maybe bring in, maybe not. That probably won't work. I was going to say maybe Pujols. Maybe he could play a little first, but I think Pujols is more of a designated hitter at this point, and you already have Marcell Ozuna. So, but I don't know. Could they turn to Pujols? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But I think the best option for the Braves is Freddie Freeman. Are they going to pony up the money just like they did for Chipper Jones back in the day? I definitely think so. I think with Freddie Freeman, he will go back to the Braves, to see if they offer a counter. He will circle back to the Braves before he ends up making a decision. I would imagine he would. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Freddie Freeman. So let's actually pull up here. Let's go back. Let's see if there's anything updated. Between each story, I will take a look at the notifications. What do we got? Here we go. Alrighty. Nope. Nothing new. Last tweet, Heyman, Mariners, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox among the hottest pursuers for Seiya Suzuki. So we'll check back here in a second. We're going to talk about my Red Sox here in a little bit, so that'll be a good time to talk about Seiya Suzuki. But let's get to our next story here. Let's get to, in my opinion, the biggest free agent on the market, and that is Mr. Carlos Correa. Could we see him sign within the next 24 hours? He's starting to heat up out there on the hot stove. Yankees, Cubs, Astros, eyeing Correa. I'm gonna knock out two birds with one stone here, because this ties into Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton Simmons did sign with the Cubs today. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know. I just died laughing when I saw it, because this whole offseason I've been seeing Cubs fans say, announce Correa to the Cubs. Let's go, Correa. He's going to the Cubs. He's going to be a Chicago Cub. We saw all the rumors. We saw all the tweets, all the reports. And then Andrelton Simmons signs with the Cubs. That was so funny to me. I don't know why. I was dying. Oh, my God. I thought Correa still could go to the Cubs. He definitely still could. But we actually have a report here. Hector Gomez, not too long ago, within the last, I think he tweeted this at 8 o'clock, so not even an hour ago, hearing that the Yankees are willing to pay Correa that amount. So if you look here, Cubs Zone, let's actually go to this report really quick. Actually, let me open this up Can I go on a new tab for this? No, I can't go on a new tab. The Cubs are reportedly unwilling to pay near $300 million or above for Correa. Now, if you go back to the reports from before the lockout, and even during the lockout as well, there were reports out there saying that the Cubs were okay with his AAV, but they weren't willing to go the years. Now, this would make some sense. If they don't want to go $300 million, they're probably not willing to go the amount of years. I think I read it was like 7-8 years max they would go. So if you did, I don't know, if it's not going to be 300. Remember the Detroit Tigers, there was a report out there that they offered 10 years, $275 million. So $27.5 million per year. I'm wondering if the Cubs, maybe they offered, $30 million over like 8 years or so. So that would be a $240 million contract. That's what I think is going on here. I think it is just the length of the deal. They're probably offering a pretty nice AAV. Maybe they're even offering, I would imagine it's going to be around Francisco Lindor's contract. I would imagine it's going to be probably a little bit more, maybe around the same. If we go to the contracts right now, Francisco Lindor, he's at 341 over 10, so he's making $34 million per year. So maybe the Cubs were offering maybe like $35 million over 8 years. That would be like 280 or something like that. I don't know. But I am not surprised to see that they're not willing to go to this length. So now if we go back to this tweet here, hearing that the Yankees are willing to pay him that. This is really interesting because I have been saying this until I am blue in the face. You have Oswald Peraza there. You have him. Now the question is, if they're really serious about going for Correa, I mean, you got to imagine Peraza is going to be a trade piece. And then, you got Anthony Volpe. If Correa is with the Yankees, if Volpe does end up making it to the major leagues, he's their top prospect at the moment. If he ends up blossoming into the player that a lot of people think he could be, and Correa's at short, I mean, you could just stick Volpe at second. It's going to depend on what's going on with Gleyber Torres at the time. So Jamie Kelly just subscribed. Jamie, thank you so much. If there is anyone new, hit that subscribe button. Pretty much every night from here on out, I will be going live to talk anything hot stove, rumors, free agency, trades. This is the spot you want to be. We got 600 people in the chat. I want to thank you all for coming out. But this is interesting. I was thinking in my head, the Yankees, they have not, besides Garrett Cole, they needed Garrett Cole. Like, that was a no-brainer for the Yankees because they needed an ace guy. They needed that guy at the top of their rotation. So that made a lot of sense at the time. But the Yankees, they've been wanting to stay under the luxury tax. Tim Austin just subscribed. Thank you so much. But I was actually listening to Michael Kay on his radio show, and he was saying, listen, the Mets are spending all this money. I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can sit here and, be under the luxury tax and whatever, and you can have a good enough team to get to the playoffs every year. But at some point, Yankee fans, they're going to want to have a team that can go deep into the playoffs. And Yankee fans, right now, the Mets, they're the story of New York. And Michael Kay was pretty adamant about that. He was saying, listen, the Mets, they're making all the headlines. They're dominating the New York headlines right now. And that's, when it comes to the eyes of the people in New York, they see which team is ponying up right now. They're seeing which team is wanting to put their chips into the middle of the table to try and build a winner. And the Yankees, maybe they're feeling that pressure a little bit. They gotta show that they're willing to spend. And so if we actually go here to the Yankees payroll, now the big thing right off the bat, what happens with Aaron Judge? If you sign Correa, are you bringing back Aaron Judge? I don't know. Because at this point, You have Garrett Cole and Giancarlo Stanton already. Those are your top 2 contracts. Danny Goding just subscribed. What's going on? Those are your top 2 contracts. And then Correa, he's going to be 30 plus. And so, you're locked into Cole and Stanton for a long time. I mean, I don't know. So I would imagine if you sign Correa, Judge, I wonder if that's going to be it for him. I don't know. That's the big question for me. So it's really interesting. We're going to have to wait and see. Will the Yankees end up ponying up? I'm going to stick with my dark horse pick for Carlos Correa. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the Orioles. I'm sticking with it, everyone. You can laugh at me all you want, but I'm going to stick with the Orioles. I think Mike Elias, he's going to come through. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Actually, no, I'm not hoping because I don't want Carlos Correa in the same division. But very interesting. We're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening here. The Cubs, it's looking like they're probably out of it. I mean, they signed Simmons, Simmons is going to be nice for them. It's he went there on a really cheap deal, $4 million. He was worth like negative $4 million last year, according to his Fangraphs value. But he wasn't very far removed from having a value of over 10 million. His glove is that good. However, he was just awful with the bat last year, just not good at all. He's never really been great with the bat, but the defense has just been Hall of Fame worthy. And last year the defense was good, but it wasn't, the normal good that he's shown before. So, but the Cubs, they got him back. They got him on a cheap deal. So they probably thought, all right, you know what? We'll just sign him to a 1-year deal, and we'll address shortstop later down the road. So looks like the Cubs are out of it. Now, could the Astros bounce back in? Could they? I've been saying this for a while now. I wonder if the Astros, if they end up just coming in at the last second and they said, all right, okay, let's give you a deal. Let's give you a big deal. Until I see the Astros are out of it, like for sure, then I'm not giving up on the Astros. I actually do see this comment in the chat, Aaron, Lynn, and Josh. I did see that. Sold his house. He sold his house in Houston. So that is usually when these guys sell their homes, it doesn't always mean they're going to go, but it is interesting. It is interesting. But I'm not counting the Astros out until the fat lady sings. So, but let's get to it here. Let's move on to our next story. Could Carlos Correa be a Yankee by the end of the night, by the end of the weekend? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, Super Chat coming in. Caleb, what's going on, my friend? I know you have a lot to go through tonight, but are my Reds going to do anything? What are your thoughts on them? I don't know, man. I wish they would because they got a pretty good team, I think. They got some good pieces, but they're going to have to replace that bat with Castellanos, man. Unless they're going to really just dive into their youth. They got some good prospects on the horizon. I'm really excited for, the top prospects in their system. Let me actually pull up their top prospects here. So I'm a big fan of Hunter Green. Big fan of Hunter Green. I love a big fastball, man. And then Nick Lodolo as well. So you do have a couple of really good pitchers coming up. But as for bats, not too much. I mean, you don't really have... I mean, if we go to the Reds right now... So let's pull up the depth chart here. Again, no Castellanos. But you do have Jonathan India, you do have Jesse Winker, you do have Joey Votto. At least with Eugenio Suarez, he is going to give you home runs. So we're gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening with the Reds. Are they gonna do anything? I don't know. They haven't really shown signs of really wanting to spend anything. So I think they could definitely go for some cheaper deals, but I don't think they're gonna go after any of these big guys. Unfortunately. So, but let's get to our next story here. Brady, thank you for subscribing, my friend. So let's get to our next story. We got a lot to talk about. We're talking about the Yankees. Let's stick with the Yankees. We got Matt Olson. The Yankees, Rangers, ready to pursue Olson. Let's pull up the story here. Okay, sharing the screen. Okay. Also, the Braves. I forgot to mention the Braves. We kind of already talked about that with Freeman earlier. So it's a no-brainer that the Braves would be in on Matt Olson. So right now, it's very interesting with what's going on with Freeman. But we've heard the Braves talking to, the A's about Matt Olson for a while now. That's why I'm wondering, is Freeman gone? Because they're already calling the A's about Matt Olson. So, I don't know. Man. But the Rangers, the Yankees, those are interesting teams. These are the three teams that I thought would be a great fit for Matt Olson. You know who I think would also be a really good fit for Matt Olson? If you're not going to spend money, why not the Marlins? The Marlins got prospects. Why can't the Marlins get involved? If you're not going to go out there and get Nick Castellanos, come on. Go make a trade for Matt Olson. I think the Marlins would be fantastic. But as of right now, it is looking like it's going to be down to the Braves, the Rangers, and the Yankees. If the Dodgers are going to get Freeman, then, of course, obviously, they're not going to be involved for Olson. But if they don't get Freeman, I could see the Dodgers turning to the A's for Olson. Boston Productions with a $5 super chat. What's up, man? I'm hyped for the stream, and I was wondering where you think Story will go. We're going to talk about Trevor Story here in a little bit. According to reports out there, there might be a possibility Story could end up with the Red Sox. We're going to have to wait and see. So, but back to Matt Olson here. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Really appreciate that. Sam ZG, he says espresso time. Thank you for the reminder, my friend. But let's go to Baseball Trade Values, one of my favorite websites. Man, they do great work over here, man. They do great work. I see almost 700 people in the chat. So if anyone needs, just a quick little history lesson here on Baseball Trade Values, Miguel, thank you for subscribing. They have a 95% accuracy or acceptance rate on real life trades. There have been 278 trades that have gone through their simulator, and 265 of them have been accepted. So these are the more noteworthy ones that have been accepted. Scherzer and Turner to the Dodgers, Chris Bryant with the Giants, Gibson, Kennedy, Phillies, Baez to the Mets, Lindor to the Mets, Arenado to the Cardinals, Lance Lynn to the White Sox, Nate Lowe to the Rangers, Blake Snell to the Padres, Tyone to the Yankees, Matz to the Blue Jays, and then there was also Jeff Hoffman to the Reds. So this is a very, very good simulator. Is it perfect? No, but it's 95%. That's pretty good if you ask me. So you're not going to get them all right. So let's take a look here. What would Matt Olson cost? He's going to cost you around $45 million worth of value. So let me pull up here Matt Olson. So $45.3 million worth of value. So you may be wondering, how do you determine that? So if you go here to, I wanted to open up the new tab. Oh well. But it gives you a breakdown on how they value everything. So they use wins above replacement. They use projections. They use inflation. They use years of control. That is a big one. Years of control. Their injury history. Have they been more susceptible to injuries? The risk, their roster spot risk. Are they guaranteed to stay on that roster? That's a part of it that goes into it as well. And a big part of it, their salary. So someone like Giancarlo Stanton, he is making a ton of money, but he's had a lot of injuries in the past. And based off of his wins above replacement and everything that goes into his value, he ends up having a negative value. You are underwater. The Yankees are underwater with that contract based off of value. So, but there's also, when they get all of that together, they also make adjustments with the market. Is there a lot of demand? So if you're going after, let's say at the trade deadline, and there's, a premier shortstop out there, which is already a premium position, and if everyone's gunning for that shortstop, you got like 10 teams in the mix. well, the demand is just going to go up, and his value is just going to increase. So that's how they determine everything on here. But let's go back to Matt Olson. What would it take? I mean, we've talked a lot about Matt Olson on this channel when it comes to trades, but let's pull up here Matt Olson. So again, he had about 43 or $45.3 million worth of value. So if we go, let's stay with the Yankees, shall we? Let's stay with the Yankees. So pulling up their roster. So the most obvious one is Peraza. If you're going to go sign Correa, I would imagine Peraza is completely up for grabs at that point. So let me put Olson on the Yankees. So with Peraza, according to their values, you're now only $20 million away. So this is basically 2 more players that you could throw in here. So, Vargas, that's their 3rd ranked shortstop in their system. So let's throw in Vargas. Why not? And with the A's, it seems like they've been wanting to sell off these guys to try and cut payroll. So most likely they probably want minor leaguers and pre-arbitration kind of guys. So I would imagine they would probably want, Peraza is on the cusp of the minor leagues right now, or of the major leagues right now. So he definitely could be someone that you could see really soon if he went to the A's. But if you wanted to throw in, another guy here, maybe you could throw in, I think the Yankees really like Austin Wells. But maybe you could throw in a pitching prospect like Medina, and you're pretty close here. You're within a few $1 million worth of value. So maybe one more guy gets this done. But if you were to go to the Rangers, let's go to the Rangers. Now, the Yankees, they are definitely set up for an Olson trade. So let's put the A's up. Let's put Olson on the Rangers. Now, I think the Rangers might have a bit of a tougher time putting a trade together. If we go to the Rangers' top prospects. So they're definitely not trading Leiter. That's not happening. Josh Jung. I believe didn't he just get hurt recently? If my brain remembers. Cole Winn. They're probably not parting with Cole Winn. Teams these days, unless there is someone that is just blocking them from getting to the major leagues, teams tend to hang on to their top guys. So an example of what I just meant, someone like Justin Foscue, he definitely could be available with now that they signed Semien and Corey Seager. You could maybe move him to the outfield, but Foscue is someone right off the bat, prospect wise, that definitely could go. When you're looking, however, at first base, they got a first baseman that is pre-arbitration eligible right now in Nate Lowe. So the Rangers, they do have some pieces here. You probably need to maybe throw in one more good prospect and then or 2, but they could get something done. I guess it depends on what the A's like, but 1 or 2 more prospects here, you could get this done. So, Heyman has a tweet. I'm seeing Heyman. John Heyman, what do you got for me, my friend? Here we go. Dodgers and Braves have been the most consistent pursuers and most likely landing spots for Freddie Freeman. Dodgers are making push now. It's a surprise the Braves didn't lock him long ago. Belief is they'd be offering about 140 over 5, but he should get 6. That's really interesting. So 140 over 5. What is that? That's only $28 million per year. Wow. And that's not surprising. If we go to, that's what I'm saying. I think the Braves, that's just the way they operate now. This is the way they are. They don't give out these big contracts. So if we take a look at the top first baseman right now, contract wise, Paul Goldschmidt, I believe, is at the top. Oh, no, Joey Votto, sorry. Well, Joey Votto has the biggest contract, but for AAV, Paul Goldschmidt's at the top, and he's making $26 million. And if you go take a look, at Paul Goldschmidt on Fangraphs, he had a, let me see here. His WAR last year on Fangraphs was a 4.9. Freddie Freeman, on the other hand, I think Goldschmidt had a higher WAR. Yeah, he beat out Freeman by a little bit. So, and Paul Goldschmidt's making $26 million per year. So, I don't know. You know, the fact that they're going 28 per year, and they're probably thinking like, hey, you know, 5 years, that's the most we'll go. You know, but of course, Freeman, he's going to look for more. So, I think Freeman's gone. I think he's gone. Because this is, again, could you make Freeman the highest AAV first baseman? Sure. But are the Braves going to do it? I don't know. I think Freeman ends up moving on. I think he's going to go to the Dodgers. I just think it's going to happen. I just don't see the Braves doing this. So, but I definitely could be wrong. Could be wrong. So, but let's go back to baseball trade values here. So, but then one more spot. So we're talking about the Braves. So let's go to the Braves. The Braves definitely have some pieces that they could send back. So let's put Olson on the Braves. This would be a natural replacement for Freddie Freeman, left-handed bat. So, and I could see the Braves doing this because Matt Olson's going to be a lot cheaper and he's under control for a couple of years. So taking a look here, again, Matt Olson, $45.3 million. So if you were to go to the Braves' top prospects, so I don't see them trading Pache. I probably see them keeping Langeliers. Maybe Drew Waters could be up for grabs. Maybe he did not. His value did drop last year, though. So he is still at a $14.7 million. Could you throw in Drew Waters? You know, change the scenery? He did not do very good. Or, I mean, you could, I don't know. Do the Braves want to part with Michael Harris? So, I don't know. I think the way Drew Waters has been performing, maybe they'd be willing to let him go and take their chances with Michael Harris. You have someone like Kyle Muller here. You got Ryan Cusick. There is Tucker Davidson. He is major league ready. So I could maybe see the A's liking that. So let's just do a package with Waters. Let's also let's do Davidson. So with these two, you still are about $20 million away. So I don't think they're going to trade Langeliers. I think if they wanted to trade an outfield prospect, they would probably want to go with Waters. That's just what I think. I definitely could be wrong, but he struggled. He just did not take that step forward. Could he have a bounce back year? Maybe. Let's take a look at Michael Harris. Michael Harris last year, he did really well in high A ball. He hit 294. He had 7 homers. He had 27 stolen bases. Michael Harris, there's a lot of potential with him. You don't know how it's going to pan out, but I don't know. With Harris, that would close the gap a lot more. He's worth around $30 million. So maybe with the A's, maybe they want a more quantity over quality approach. So let's do those two. You're going to have to give up a good amount. I mean, maybe Muller or Cusick. Muller, he's going to be $13 million. Cusick is around $5 million. So maybe they would demand Muller in this situation. And then with these three, you are one more pretty good prospect away. Could you do Shoemake? Shoemake is the number 8. So maybe this package could get it done. You're getting 2 pitchers. You're getting, am I saying it right? Shoemake? Or is it? I think I'm saying that right. And then Drew Waters. So I don't know. The Braves, they have pieces. It's going to come down to which packages do the A's like the most. All 3 of these teams could get in on Matt Olson. We're just going to have to wait and see. But we're not going to see anything happen with Matt Olson, I think, until Freeman has signed. So I think Freeman is the domino. Let's go check with John Heyman again. Let's see what John Heyman's saying. 700 people in the chat. Thank you for stopping by, everyone. Let's see. John Heyman says Braves made $100 million profit last year. Freddie Freeman is not the guy to squeeze. So, you know, that is John Heyman's opinion. At the end of the day, if it's not the Braves' opinion, you know, I definitely think the Braves will get some hate if they don't bring Freeman back. But it really just comes down to what's their philosophy. So, you know, of course, I would love Freeman to finish his career with the Braves, but do they think it's worth it? Super Chat, what's going on? How are we doing? Just John, Seahawks fan here. I have nothing else to look forward to this year, so really glad baseball is back. Hope this is the M's year. Hey, man. Hey, you got Drew Lock, right? Is that who you got in the trade? You got some pieces. Maybe you could flip those pieces to get someone else. So, Cole A009. Maldonado just posted a picture of him and Correa at his house. Interesting. James Hirota, what's going on, man? Angels signing Suzuki could make sense. You know, I'm wondering with Suzuki, I would imagine if the Angels sign Suzuki, you probably got to trade someone, right? Because you got Adele, you got Marsh, you got Trout. I mean, I know you got the DH spot now, but I would imagine someone would have to go, right? Sam ZG, espresso time. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But Just John, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you. Let's get to the next story, everyone. We got a lot of stories to talk about. Speaking of stories, could Trevor Story come to my Red Sox? Could he come to the Red Sox? We got a little bit of a report out there from a friend of the channel. From a friend of the channel. He reported this earlier. Let's take a look here. Now, this isn't, the typical John Heyman, Jeff Passan, not those guys. But iTalk Studios, he has a channel. And you might be thinking to yourself, huh? But iTalk Studios, what? Hey, I'm telling you, he's got himself someone that's helping him out. He has a guy. So he has posted stuff before that and it ended up coming true. So don't dismiss this just because it's not John Heyman. He's got a connection out there. So, but he says here the Red Sox are currently negotiating with Trevor Story. Now, this is not surprising to me because the Red Sox have been connected with Trevor Story this offseason. Trevor Story, also iTalk Studios reported that he was working out with the Red Sox. So they, went and looked at him. You might be thinking to yourself, you might be thinking to yourself, well, the Red Sox, how is Trevor Story going to fit with the Red Sox? Well, perfect scenario here. You can just have Trevor Story play second. Kike Hernandez can move out to center. Jackie Bradley, he moves to the bench. Simple as that. Jackie Bradley would be your fourth outfielder at that point. So Trevor Story, he did say there was a report out there that he wants to play short. The lonely wolf who howls alone at the moon. Atlanta won't pay. They have a lot of young players to pay. And that's another true thing, lonely wolf. That is. You'd love to see the Braves pony up. But if you take a look here at their payroll, Charlie Morton's going to come off the books eventually as a club option after this year. You got Ozuna for a couple more years. Will Smith will come off the books or could come off the books after this year. Acuna, he is locked down for a little while. They don't have a lot of big contracts, but what are they going to do with Dansby Swanson? You got a lot of guys here where, funny enough, very interesting how Adam Duvall, he's 33 years old, and he is still in arbitration. Pretty funny. What are you going to do with Max Fried down the road? You know, you got some guys here that you probably want to lock up. So we're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening with that. Lonely Wolf, thank you. Thank you. Nathan, Xander, it's okay. Here, I've heard all these different pronunciations. I've heard them say on Nesson countless times, Xander Bogaerts. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure. That's what I always hear every time I'm listening to the guys on Nesson. So, but I think that's what it is. So there was one time, because I accidentally said one time Xander, and everyone was getting on to me about it. Hunter with a $1.99 super chat. What if Simmons is just the Cubs' backup plan? Definitely could be. Wouldn't count the Cubs out just yet. So, but let's get back to it here. Where were we? We were on Trevor Story. So again, he would be a fit for the Red Sox. He can just play second. Now, there was a report out there not too long ago that Trevor Story, he wanted to play short. However, if you go back to last offseason with Marcus Semien, he said the same exact thing. He said, no, I want to play short. And he ended up playing mostly second base for the Blue Jays. He played a little shortstop here and there, but look what kind of a contract he got. So I could see these guys being like, no, I want to play short because that's where you're going to get paid. You know, shortstops, they get paid more than second basemen. So, but Trevor Story, the problem that Trevor Story has is supposedly he was having some problems with his elbow last year, and his throws were not as good as they had been in the past. He was missing a lot of throws. His arm just didn't look as strong last year. So Trevor Story, I don't think it's going to hurt his value at all if he goes to the Red Sox on like a 1-year deal, play some second, and I think that could end up helping restore his value a little bit. If we go look at Trevor Story, he didn't have bad numbers last year, just not really the kind of numbers that we're used to seeing. So let's go to Fangraphs. He still had 24 home runs. He had a 471 slugging. So, you know, not bad. Good numbers. But the average was a little low compared to what he's used to. A 329 on base, not bad. But his defense, despite the arm, his defense still was really good. His range is top notch. So we're going to have to wait and see. I think he fits with the Red Sox really well. If he ends up playing second. If you go take a look at Baseball Savant with Trevor Story, he is more of a pull hitter. That is perfect for Fenway Park. Perfect. Look at the spray chart. Look at all the home runs going to left field. He would just attack the monster. He could end up being a really good fit for the Red Sox. I could see it being like an Adrian Beltre kind of a scenario back in 2010 when he played for the Red Sox. Adrian Beltre, he just killed it with the Red Sox. So I think Story would be a really good fit. So we're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. But I think it could be a really good move. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully we get some news tonight. So let's take a look here. Let's see if there's any news. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Doesn't look like we have anything new. Last tweet was from John Heyman, so we're still looking pretty good. All right, so I'm seeing Josh 1229. Apparently the Mets are in talks for Tyler Mahle. Let's take a look. Mets, Tyler Mahle. Anything on the Twitter? Okay, Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer. Who the heck is Michael Mayer? All right, let's go to this tweet right here. Who is Michael Mayer? Executive editor at Metsmerized. Okay. All right. Here we go. So we have a bit of an update here. Michael Mayer. The Mets have had trade talks with the Reds about starting pitcher Tyler Mahle. Tyler Mahle had himself a really good year last year. Since we have Baseball Savant open, let's go to Tyler Mahle. Or is it Mahle? I think it's Mahle, right? So, but look, great numbers. Great numbers overall. 33 starts last year. That's what the Mets really need. They need innings. They need effective innings. And he definitely could be a guy. So if we go take a look here, let's go to baseball trade values. Let's clear this out. So Tyler Mahle, report out there. James Hirota, are you seeing that report from MLB Nerds from earlier today, or is that a news story? Because he reported that earlier. So let me know in the chat, James, if that's where you saw it. But let's put together a trade here. Mets. I think it might be hard for them, man. The Mets are not set up very well to trade. They don't have a lot of great prospects. I don't know, man. So looking at here, the Mets. Oh, let me put Maile on the Mets here. So Maile, he's going to cost you $44 million worth of value. I mean, come on. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. Oh, Super Chat coming in. Devin G with a $5. Hey, appreciate the support, Devin G. Thank you so much. So let's take a look here. Let's go to Tyler Maile on. Well, let's pull up his baseball reference page. He's not a free agent, I think, until 2025. 2024. Okay, so he has control 2022 and then 2023. So he's got 2 years of control. Good numbers last year. His FIP was right around his ERA. So he's had good numbers for the last couple of years. So I can understand why he's going to cost you a little bit. So, Super Chat coming in. Trey Gawain. I'm late, but thoughts on Sox legend Martin Perez. Martin Perez, everyone was going crazy when the Red Sox brought him back last year. But this was a guy to me where when he came back last year, I was like, why is everyone freaking out about Martin Perez? I'm like, I don't know. Like when 2020, he was just whatever. Like he had like a couple of good starts and then he was pretty good in the first half, but he is just a soft tosser. He doesn't give up a lot of hard contact a lot, but he's one of those guys where he can't really go deep into games because teams just figure him out. So I just wasn't really ever a big fan of Martin Perez. He definitely had some good outings, but So what do we got here? Jabba the Nut, $1 super chat. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? So let's take a look. Again, it's going to cost a lot to get Maile. If you are the Mets, you're not in a great position. So if you go look at the top prospects for the Mets, they are slowly but surely adding pieces to their farm. They're kind of in the middle of the pack when it comes to their farm system ranking. So you do have someone like a Ronnie Mauricio. He is definitely expendable. So let's start with him because you got Lindor for the foreseeable future. So let's start it off with Mauricio. Now so we might as well actually introduce this right now. The Pro Simulator has just subscribed. I was going to talk about this later, but let's actually let me pull it up here. Mets trade. I was going to do this as a separate story, but taking a look. So I read a different story. So let me read this one right here. Oh, we got a new member. Glacio has become a member. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. We just hit 70 members last night, so I want to thank all the new members. Glacio, go to the community tab on the channel, and you'll see a link for the Discord. It's always popping over there on the Discord. But since we're talking about Maile, looking here, according to Buster Olney, the Mets are said to be actively working in the trade market, trying to move. Oh, we got another member. Jabba the Nut has become a member. What's going on, my friend? But they're actively working in the trade market, trying to move some of their veteran position players. Olney's report did not mention any players by name, but it's logical to think the Mets may be looking to trade veterans like Jeff McNeil, JD Davis, or even Dominic Smith. So But then Andy Martino, he tweeted out today saying that the Mets are getting plenty of calls about them, but they're not actively shopping them. So who are they? What position players are the Mets looking to trade? I mean, it has to be them. Who else are they going to trade that are veteran position players? Brandon Nimmo? I don't think they're going to get rid of Brandon Nimmo. I don't think no one's going to want Cano. Obviously, not Lindor, not Marte, not Alonso, not McCann, not Escobar. They just signed them. It has to be those guys. Maybe Luis Guillorme, but it has to be. Maybe they're putting that out there for leverage or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but it has to be those guys. So if you're the Reds, you got to remember, if you're the Reds, you just lost Nick Castellanos, and you have Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo right on the horizon. So could you trade away Maile, take advantage of his value while it's high, and then you got two young guys coming up that could go into the rotation at some point, and then you can get a bat. So the Reds definitely need a bat to replace Castellanos. Boston Productions has become a member. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Wow, we just got 3 new members. We're almost to 80 members now. We're almost to 80. To me, if you're going to be trading someone, could you... I mean, if we were to go here, let me actually go to the Mets payroll. Who is farthest away from free agency? McNeil has this year 23 and 24. Okay, so Dominic Smith and JD Davis are all in the same boat. So, the Hand of Fake just subscribe. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? So, I would imagine maybe McNeil. I mean, Dominic Smith is the youngest out of the 3, but he's going to be $4 million. So, I don't know. Let me pull up each of these guys. If you were the Reds, who would you want? It's funny because we had that super chat earlier. If there was any news on the Reds. So maybe JD Davis could be the guy, because he actually was pretty good last year, but he just ran into some injuries. New subscriber. What's going on? I did not catch the name. What was it? Salt of the Earth? Hello? Could you go Dominic Smith? He's a left-handed bat. Maybe they want to go with a right-handed bat because they're losing Castellanos. So Dominic Smith had a down year, so maybe the Reds don't really want him. But and McNeil's a left-handed bat too. So maybe JD Davis is the guy that they would want. So let's put JD Davis in here. So if you do Mauricio Davis, Kevin B, just subscribe. What's going on? Also, to all the new members, remember, go to the community tab and you will find the link to the Discord. So I would do Mauricio Davis, because really, what kind of playing time is Davis going to get? You know, I don't see where Davis fits in. With McNeil, you could have him play second, and Lindor obviously at short, and then you have Cano as a designated hitter. So Chris CJ Lee has just subscribed. What's going on? So, but I would imagine it's going to be Davis if you were to do a trade. So we can do Davis, Mauricio, and I don't know. Maybe you could send back Peterson. Could you do that? I mean, you're pretty close there. Peterson is a major league ready guy. I believe he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. I might have read that wrong. But could you do a package like this to go back to the Reds? They get a young infielder who has a lot of value. You get JD Davis, he's a good bat when he's healthy. He's not going to be great defensively, but at least you have the designated hitter spot. So you could put him there. And then Peterson is a major league ready guy. So maybe a package like this could get it done. Will the Mets or would the Reds want to do that? I don't know. So I don't know. New member, Marvin S. has become a member. Thank you, my friend. We just got 4 new members, I believe, in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 new members in the last like 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Also, everyone, if you can, hit that like button for me. We're at 246 likes. Let's get to 300 likes before I have to ask again. We're at 246. Let's get to 300. So, but let's get back to it here. Tyler Mahle. I mean, that actually knocks out one of the stories I was going to talk about anyway. So, but let's get to the next one. Rick Bennett just subscribed. What's going on? Still around 700 people strong in the chat. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. So, let's get to the next story, shall we? We talked about Trevor Story. We've talked a little Mets. Let's get to some actual signings today, shall we? This was the big one. This was, I think, the first big one that happened, and that's Carlos Rodon signing with the San Francisco Giants. I thought this was a great move for the Giants. They lost Kevin Gausman. They did bring in Alex Cobb, which I thought was a nice move, but Carlos Rodon, to me, if there is a team that it made sense for a high risk, high reward kind of a guy, it is the Giants, because the Giants, they've had a good track record of, so let me pull up the Giants here. Let's share the screen. So the Giants, they've had a good track record in recent years of getting guys back on track. Kevin Gausman, to name one. Alex Wood did really well for them. Anthony DeSclafani did really well for them. I'm not saying Carlos Rodon was bad, but Carlos Rodon, his problem has been the injuries. He's had trouble staying on the field. Can the Giants, they've been able to work with these other guys. Can they fix something with him mechanically to where, they can keep his shoulder, from wearing down, so quickly. He ended up being basically just out for like the last month or two of the regular season last year. So if you're looking at the Giants rotation right now, it looks pretty good. Logan Webb, I really like Logan Webb. Carlos Rodon, Anthony DeSclafani, Alex Wood, and Alex Cobb. I really like this rotation. I think it looks really nice. I mean, I would have loved Kevin Gausman to be back here, but to me, I think the Giants make a lot of sense. They got him for around $20 million per year, or was it $22 million per year? So 21.5 for 2022, and then 22.5 for 2023. So I'm not surprised about the length of this deal. Because of the injuries, I didn't see any team really offering him a long-term deal. I just couldn't see it, So Carlos Rodon, I think they took advantage of, they got more money for less years. So he'll go back out to free agency in a couple of years. I mean, hey, look what happened with Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman was there for a couple of years and ended up getting a huge contract at the Blue Jays. I think Carlos Rodon, he saw that. He saw what happened with DeSclafani. And, Alex Wood has looked better with the Giants. So I think Carlos Rodon, again, there's nothing wrong. His numbers were fantastic last year. He probably would have won the Cy Young if he was healthy for the whole time. So he probably felt comfortable with the Giants. They can probably work with him to keep his shoulder a little more intact. So they've done a good job with these other guys. So I really like this move. I think this is a move. The Giants needed to make something happen. They lost Gausman. Now the question is, are they going to get a bat? You lost Buster Posey and Chris Bryant. I think you need a bat. The lineup looks empty to me. It looks like it needs something. To me, I think you took a bit of a risk with Carlos Rodon. Could you take a bit of a risk for Seiya Suzuki? I mean, why not? Why not take a risk with Seiya Suzuki? It says right here, John Heyman, Mariners, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox among the hottest pursuers. Why? I mean, if the Giants got Rodon, why not take a risk for Suzuki too? I think that makes a lot of sense. So I would love that. To me, can I just get one prediction right? Can just Seiya Suzuki just go to the Giants so I can get one of my predictions right? I'm the worst when it comes to predictions. It's pretty much just comedy at this point. If I ever post predictions, just remember it's pretty much just comedy because I'm just terrible at predictions. But I felt pretty good, though, about the Seiya Suzuki to the Giants prediction that I made. So, hey, I think that could definitely happen. So, gonna have to wait and see. We also talked about earlier Trevor Story with the Red Sox. I think Suzuki makes sense to the Red Sox. I feel like the Red Sox are gonna get one of them. They're gonna get Story or they're gonna get Suzuki. I think it comes down to who's gonna agree to their contract offer. I think they're going back and forth. If I were to make a guess, I would imagine they're going back and forth between the two. They're trying to gauge what Suzuki's market is. They're trying to gauge Story. So, going to be interesting to see where Suzuki ends up going. Out of all these teams, could the Cubs get involved for Suzuki? It says right here the Cubs are the hottest pursuers. I mean, the Cubs, if they're not going to get Correa, why not go after Suzuki? I mean, they make a lot of sense. The Cubs would be great. I mean, if you want to go get a bat, let's do Seiya. So, now there was this story earlier. I don't know if anyone follows this account. He kind of came out of nowhere a few months ago, and he was just, he was putting up his player rankings, and it was just making a lot. It was like triggering a lot of people, and he was just like, if people would come after him, he would go back after them, which I guess I thought was kind of funny. But there were some of his rankings where I'm like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? I'm like, huh? There was one time this guy said he was talking with Giraffe Nick Mark on the Twitter, that Twitter thing where you can like talk or whatever. You can have like almost like a podcast or whatever it's called. And he was saying he could think of 80 starting pitchers off the top of his head that were better than Adam Wainwright. And I'm like, what? What are you saying? What? I don't know, man. But he did post this today. He put something, says here, he posted 22 minutes ago. I'm told the Yankees, White Sox, Twins all have interest in A's for Sean Manaea. I think the Twins make a lot of sense for Manaea. They need a starting pitcher. Would not be surprised about that at all. I don't think the Yankees would get Manaea. They could. Definitely could. Could they do a package? Could you do a package of Olson and Manaea going back to the Yankees? Maybe the Yankees have been floating that around. Let's take a look at that. I mean, if we were to look here, you could definitely do those too. Why not? Package deal? I would imagine the A's would want to deal them separately because they'll probably end up getting more, but the Yankees have good prospects. But overall, 63, right around $64 million worth of value. I mean, I don't think you would do Volpe in here. I still think you start with Peraza. Could you do Dominguez? Oh man, would you do Dominguez? I don't know. Yankee fans, would you do this? Would you do Peraza and Dominguez for Olson and Manaea? I don't know about that. I don't know, man. Could you do Gil? Pereira? Vargas? And then you're pretty close here. You got a couple of shortstops with Peraza and Vargas. But then you're putting all your eggs in one basket with Volpe there. Well, if you're gonna get Correa, I mean, if you're gonna get Correa, who cares at that point? And then maybe, and don't forget they also just signed Roderick Arias, so a few years down the road he could be ready. And then maybe one more guy, Medina. Could you do this? Could you do this package for Manaea and Olson? I would imagine the Yankees have had conversations. That, I think, definitely could make some sense. But I definitely see the Twins. I mean, could the White Sox? I don't think the White Sox have enough when it comes to prospects. I just don't. Unless the A's, unless they like someone in their farm system. But out of these three teams, I think the Twins would make a lot of sense. Xenon Swift, Aaron Lynn talking about Yu Darvish. What is Yu Darvish saying? Oh, man. What is this? I've talked about Suzuki on the Padres before. Oh, my God. Say Suzuki is with you, Darvish. Why? I mean, I've talked. The Padres, they need a left fielder. It's very possible. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, they're obviously friends. So, he's over. I mean, I don't know where they are right now, but it's definitely possible. Sam ZG with espresso time. Sam ZG, he is the espresso reminder in the chat. But I won't count the Padres out because they have a need. They need a bat. They need to get better at their slugging percentage as a team last year, ranked near the bottom, in the bottom 10. So a bat like Suzuki could make some sense. So we'll have to wait and see. But back to MLB nerds. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. I mean, he did say one earlier about with what was it? I think it was Kershaw. I think he tweeted this before most people. So I guess he got that. I don't know who his source is, but he also tweeted this earlier. The Mets have checked in on Josh Hader. Again, I don't know where he's getting all this from. He has to have a friend or something that's like an agent or something, or I don't know. But the one DMR has just subscribed. What's going on? So, but yeah, he did say earlier today that I just didn't believe this at the time. He said something about Suzuki to the Angels. Where was it? Did he delete it? I don't think he deleted it, did he? Where is that tweet? Oh, here we go. The Angels are serious players for Seiya Suzuki. So when I saw that, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Because they already have, they got Mike Trout, you got Joe Adele, and you got Brandon Marsh. And then you also have, let's go to the Angels. Let's take a look here. Don't forget about Justin Upton. I mean, I know that's not like, he's not the best bat, or he's not the bat that he used to be, but I don't see the Angels getting Suzuki. If they did, I'd be really surprised. I mean, I'm not gonna say it can't happen. I mean, we've seen weird moves happen before. Hungry Hippo Limpo, just subscribe. What's going on? But sure, the Angels could get him. I just feel like if you're gonna get Suzuki, you're gonna have to trade someone. You would have to trade Adele or Marsh, because your DH spot is Ohtani. And don't forget, I mean, there is that connection too, Ohtani and Suzuki. So I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I don't see where he fits unless you trade someone. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's lying, but if he heard it, he heard it. But it just doesn't seem like it to make a lot of sense to me. So, hey, we'll have to wait and see. But according to Heyman, he is reporting other teams are in on Suzuki. Mariners, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, and the Red Sox. So Daniel Chapa has just subscribed. What's going on? So let's get to our next story here. What is our next story? We got a whole ton of stories. All right, so we talked about Rodon going to the San Francisco Giants. I think it's a good move. I think it's a move. They needed to make that move. They really needed to get some more pitching to replace Kevin Gausman. So, hey, I don't know. Suzuki, man. He sounds pretty good with the Giants. But let's go to a guy probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Oh, before I get to that next story, Devin G. What does this say here? Michael J. Duarte said Freeman's wife prefers Atlanta. I mean, to be honest, I would prefer Atlanta too. I mean, do you know how much it costs to live over in California right now? I mean, the living costs are just through the roof. Do you know how much it is for gas over there? I mean, not like it would really affect them anyway, but holy cow. It is like the state taxes are through the roof. Good grief. I would want to live in Atlanta too. I wouldn't want to live there. I wouldn't want to live it. I would, if I was a free agent, I would not go to California. I'm sorry. Like, I would rather stay in Atlanta, to be completely honest. That's just me. But he is from California. I wonder if they're thinking about that. I wonder. You know? Austin Lynch, just subscribe. What's going on? But we talked about Carlos Rodon. Let's talk about another lefty, future Hall of Famer. I am very sad because I really thought Clayton Kershaw was going to go to the Rangers. But back to the Dodgers, Kershaw goes. I was just banking on this man. I really thought he was going to go to the Rangers. I believed it. I was trying to manifest it. It didn't happen. But back to the Dodgers he goes. So, in a way, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised about it. Let's go to the story. But it's only a 1-year deal. So, $17 million. I wonder, did the Rangers offer him anything? So, at this point, I feel like Kershaw just stays. But I am surprised he took a 1-year deal. So, I mean, it says here, the front office allowed him to hit free agency for the first time this offseason, but team executives consistently maintain they love to keep him in the fold. It probably, I would imagine the Rangers, they probably offered him a multi-year deal, maybe a multi-year deal, if they offered him anything, but it probably wasn't near $17 million per season. In a way, I'm kind of surprised. I'm not surprised he went back to the Dodgers, but unless this is going to be like a retirement season. Max Potter just subscribed. What's going on? Oh, Michael Shin. I mean, they got Martin Perez. You know, probably we should have read in between the lines when Martin Perez signed with the Rangers. Well, Kershaw was probably not going to go to the Rangers. Martin Perez, he is just that good. That's sarcasm. So, but in a way, I am surprised that it was just a 1-year deal. So, is this going to be is he just going to go year to year from now on? You know, the Dodgers, did they not want to go more than a year? I don't know. But in a way, I found the contract to be a little surprising. I figured he would go, 3-year deal. So, but remember with Kershaw last year, he ended up not even pitching in the postseason. So, Kershaw, I believe he only made 22 starts last year. Yeah, 22, a 3.55 ERA. His FIP was a lot better at 3.00. So, over 10 strikeouts per 9. He kept the walks and the home runs down. Good numbers overall. Mac and Cheese 5D Gaming with the membership. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Hans, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Hewoltz AJ. How do you say your name? Hewoltz AJ, what's going on? I expect Kershaw to pitch until he's 40. Wonder if he can make it. Yeah, Kevin, I agree. I mean, $17 million for one season. I mean, that's a big it's a lot of coin right there. I was wondering did he get an offer from the Rangers? Did he get offered maybe like, I don't know. If they offered him 3 years, I mean, or 2 years, I wonder what the AAV was. Or did they offer him anything? I don't know. But either way, with the Dodgers, they did need some starting pitching. Max Scherzer on his way out of town. Trevor Bauer, who knows what's going to go happen with him. But Clayton Kershaw back in the fold. So at this point, your rotation does look pretty good on paper. Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw, Gonsolin, and Heaney. Now, if you can get Bauer back, which I do think he is going to come back. Daniel, thank you for subscribing. We've had some other subscribers. I haven't quite caught the names, but to all the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. So, but hey, the Dodgers, they still have a plenty of enough talented team to make another run in the postseason. So I'm a little worried about the starting pitching depth. So I think Bauer, if, they can get him to come back, after maybe the first month, he's going to give you innings. So that's the one thing with Bauer. He's very durable. So Scott Marquis just subscribed. What's going on? So, but hey, Trevor Bauer, I mean, honestly, I think he is going to play at some point. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think he ends up getting, if he does end up getting suspended, then I don't know, maybe 30 games. But then if he does get suspended, Bauer is going to go after Major League Baseball because he has been on the record saying, hey, I'm cleared. The whole case got thrown out. I shouldn't be suspended at all. So, but Major League Baseball, they have had that history where even if they got cleared of charges, they still end up suspending them. So, got to have to wait and see. You know how Trevor Bauer is with the league. He'll fight until the very end. So, but overall, Clayton Kershaw going back to the Dodgers. I mean, hey, they needed starting pitching. It's going to be interesting to see. What does he do next year? Does he go back out to the market? Maybe he wasn't getting great offers out there because, of his history with injuries in recent years. So maybe he wants to do a one-year deal and go back out again. Or maybe they could sign him to an extension at some point this season. So that's definitely possible as well. So let's move on here. We've gone through a lot of stories already. We've talked about Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa, Andrelton Simmons, Matt Olson, Trevor Story, Kershaw, Rodon. Let's get to Chris Bryant, shall we? Chris Bryant, he just so happens to have a very good friend that was also from Las Vegas. I don't know if you know him or not, the NL MVP from this past year, Bryce Harper. He's trying to recruit Chris Bryant to go to the Phillies. Could we see Chris Bryant and Bryce Harper in the same lineup? Could be possible. Definitely could be possible. Let's go take a look here. Where is the article? There we go. Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper. Let me type this in. Here we go. Let's go to Sports Illustrated, shall we? Alrighty. So, according to a report, Bryce Harper is stumping for Phillies to sign All-Star and friend Chris Bryant. So, the Phillies, they really need a guy at the top of that lineup. They do. And they do have a need out in left field. So, I do like Alex Bohm at third base for the Phillies. I think that makes a lot of sense for them to just, stick with him because there's a lot of potential with him. He was I think he finished second or third in Rookie of the Year in 2020. It was a short season, but, with Alec Bohm, he did hit 263 last year. I mean, he didn't have a bad season by any means. It wasn't a great season it wasn't a great season because of his glove. His glove was really bad. But if you go take a look, his defense was a negative 0.2 overall. If you see here, a negative 15.7 offense, that is because... What numbers was I just looking at? Where did I see 16 home... What is that? Oh, these are the projections. Oh, okay. I'm looking at projections. I'm like, that seemed... I was like, Alec Bohm? I don't think he hit 16 home runs. No, he did have a bad year last year at the plate. Yeah, 247 average, a 305 on base. Look at that slugging, 342. But in 2020, he was really good. Over 44 games, he hit 338. He had a 400 on base, a 481 slugging. When these guys, these younger guys, it's very normal for them to have some growth spurts. They have a tough season. I think you should keep giving this guy a chance. He was your 3rd overall pick back in 2018. Just keep letting him grow. I think he's going to get better. And then Dave Dombrowski as well. He's already given his vote of confidence for Alec Boehm. So I think overall you should just keep him at 3rd. I also think last year he had his defensive runs saved were not good. He had negative 13 defensive runs saved. So his range, I believe, is not great. So not like you need a lot of range for third base, but overall, negative 13 defensive runs saved. He had negative 6 in 2020. So his defense has just not been very good. The UZR shows that he makes the routine play. He's a little below average when it comes to the routine play. But when it comes to saving runs, he hasn't really been that guy. Could you move him out to the outfield, maybe to left field? And then you could have Chris Bryant play 3rd. That's the beauty about Chris Bryant, is he can play a lot of positions. He can play 3rd. He can go play left. He can go play center. He can go play right. He can give you some Gatorade in the dugout. He can play a lot of positions. He can probably go up in the front office and maybe work a trade. I mean, Chris Bryant has all the flexibility in the world. So as of right now, in left field, you have Adam Hazley. So I don't know if that's really, I don't know. Is that looking very good? No, not really. But either way, Mickey Moniak, center field. So Chris Bryant, he is definitely going to be, I think, he would be a great fit for the Phillies. I see you in the chat, Cameron, DH as well. I mean, and that's obvious as well. Let him focus on just hitting. But I would imagine, young player. Trust me, I have full experience with this. What you're saying, Cameron, I see you. Boehm as the DH. Do you know who I think of when I think of a third baseman with bad defense? My own Rafael Devers. Not great with the glove, fantastic with the bat, where there's a lot of reasons you put Rafael Devers at 3rd or take him off of 3rd and put him as your DH. But, these teams, they tend to, with these young players, these young players also want to play at positions as well, because that's only going to help their value. So I'm pretty sure if you go up to Alec Boehm and you say, hey, do you want to be the DH? He'd be like, no, I want to play 3rd, because designated hitter, I'm not gonna get paid. What's going on? New subscriber. I think that said Griminator. What's going on? How are we doing? Everyone, we have 322 likes. Let's get to 500 likes. Let's get to it. 500 likes. Take that finger, hover it over that thumbs up, and just give it a nice, gentle little tap. Let's get to 500 likes. So Chris Bryant makes a lot of sense. And let me actually pull up here Chris Bryant on Baseball Savant. Or not Baseball Savant, Baseball Reference. But the Phillies, I've shown this before. So I'm on Jeff McNeil here. Let's go to the batting stats from last year. So when you think of the Phillies lineup, obviously some good hitters. Bryce Harper to start things off. JT Realmuto. Taking a look at the rest, we got someone like Gene Segura, Rhys Hoskins. He's going to come back this year. You got bats here. Alec Boehm, if he can get his bat back on track, he's going to be a good bat. But with the Phillies last year, if we take a look here, in the first and second spots of the lineup, they did not rank very well. So let's look at the team stats. So batting first and second, the Phillies were 29th in on-base percentage. So they definitely need a guy that can get on base at the top of the lineup. Chris Bryant, he fits that bill perfectly. Let's go to his splits from last year. Batting order positions. Chris Bryant last year, batting second, which is where he batted the most, he had a 343 on base. So he makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So, Yu Darvish, another tweet. What is he? It wasn't decided to be the Padres at all. I just said hello because the agent said, I mean, yeah, it's like, come on. These guys aren't going to do stuff like that. So, it looks like it's confirmed Seiya Suzuki will not be a Padre. They just got the same agents. So, looking like Seiya Suzuki will not be a Padre. So, but Chris Bryant, I think he makes a lot of sense for the Phillies. Could he go play third? Alec Boehm, his glove has not been good there. Could you maybe have Alec Boehm maybe go play left? Has that been a possibility? Have Philly fans talked about that? Has that been a possibility? Yeah, I guess this was a discussion last year. Back in August, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philly's not ready to try Alec Boehm in the outfield. He's been one of the worst defenders at third base. I mean, honestly, this guy is so lanky. He's just such a lanky dude. I find him to be kind of awkward at third. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but he's just so big. You know? I mean, like, what is his height? What is he, 6'7"? He's got to be like, he has to be. He's 6'5". So, when I just look at him, he's just huge. I mean, like, when I look at, like, we go to Nolan Arenado. How tall is Nolan Arenado? Nolan Arenado. He's 6'2". Go to Matt Chapman. Where's Matt Chapman? Matt Chapman's 6 foot. Is Chris Bryant 6'5"? Oh, okay. Well, Chris Bryant's also 6'5". So let's go look at Chris Bryant at his. How was he defensively last year at third? I didn't realize Chris Bryant was that tall. Wow. At third base last year, -2 defensive runs saved. In left field, he had -1. I don't know. So, I don't know what to say. So, could you see Alec Boehm maybe go to left? But the Phillies did say they think he's improving. So, maybe they can stick with him. The Red Sox have kept Rafael Devers at third. I mean, if the Red Sox can keep Rafael Devers and that glove at third, I mean, the Phillies can keep on going with Alec Boehm. So, but again, that was the story. What happened to my story? Bryce Harper. I want to go back to that article. Yeah. I've never heard this term, stumping for. Never seen that used. But Chris Bryant would make sense for the Phillies. He would. And I definitely could see it happening. Clammy Clams, just subscribe. What's going on? John Heyman did tweet about this morning. NL MVP Bryce Harper is recruiting Chris Bryant. Harper poll helped keep Real Muto. That is true. I mean, Harper, he's a guy that wants to win, man. So, Phillies have needs, but also options. Someone like Schwarber, I've been saying this for a while now. I feel like Schwarber makes a ton of sense for the Phillies. Another left-handed bat that they could use. So, but the good thing about Chris Bryant is he can move around. So, I think Chris Bryant would be great. So, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Can Bryce Harper end up getting his good friend, Chris Bryant, to come to Philly? So, have to wait and see. We got a couple of more stories here. In that tweet with John Heyman, they actually did mention another guy. It looks like his market is starting to get together here, and that's Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto looks like his market is taking some shape, and it looks like another one of my predictions are going to go wrong. Let's go take a look. As of right now, the Colorado Rockies, Michael Conforto is not a top priority. I had Michael Conforto going to the Rockies. Man, if you want to establish, some value, man, go to Coors Field, put up some good numbers there. Man, oh man. So, but at least as of right now, the Rockies, they're not high on him, at least at the moment. So they had shown interest before, but earlier it was reported that the Diamondbacks were among the teams showing the most interest before the lockout. The Diamondbacks need a bat. They really need a bat. They need something. I think the Diamondbacks could be a good team next year. I think they still need a couple of pieces, but man, if you could go get Conforto or Schwarber, man, that would be really nice. Honestly, I'm like Christian Walker, Diamondbacks fans. Like, we got any Diamondbacks fans here in the chat? What do you think about Christian Walker? Because when I'm looking at these numbers, I mean, he did good in 2020. 2019, he had 29 homers. So, I mean, I don't know. But last year, he was just bad. His on base was down. Average was down. Slugging was down. He was good in 2019. He had 29 homers. Good bat there. And fielding-wise, if we take a look at defensive runs saved, he had 9 defensive runs saved in 2019, and then in 2021 he had 4. So he's gonna give you a good glove. Was he hurt last year? It looks like actually he was hurt. I see you in the chat. Groom Toady, what's going on? 115 games. So it looks like he was battling some injuries. He had a good last game. Went 3 for 5, 3 doubles. So maybe they feel like he is going to bounce back. So I think if you can make sure Christian Walker is like good to go. But man, Conforto, Schwarber, one of those bats would be really good for them, man. So taking a look at the other teams, the Marlins. So my dream for the Marlins is to get Castellanos. It is. But if they feel like he's going to cost too much money, they could go get Conforto. So if we take a look at the Marlins right now, they really could use a bat. They had one of the worst offenses last year, but they did sign Aviseo Garcia. That was a nice step. They brought in Jacob Stallings. They brought in Joey Wendell. Those are really good players that they brought in. I really like that. I think they need a big bat. I mean, if you look at the projections, they got 4 guys that are projected for more than 20 home runs next year. But if you look at the 2021 stats, Jazz Chisholm, he was really good last year. But for rookie numbers, I think the on base and the average, they definitely need to come up. But we're looking at someone that's 24 years old. I'm sure those numbers are going to come up. Garcia had himself a pretty decent year last year, a 490 slugging. I really like the addition of Joey Wendell, honestly. But man, a bat like Conforto or Castellanos or even Schwarber would be really nice for this team. So they need some kind of a bat. They need an impact bat. Not like Aviseo Garcia is nice, but they need someone that's going to change your lineup. Like when that guy comes up to the plate, like, okay, now you got to worry a little bit. Aviseo Garcia, like, sure, you want to be careful with him, but he's not a guy that's going to, strike fear. Like, yeah, you want to definitely be careful, but, someone like Castellanos, man, that's a game-changing bat. So, maybe Conforto, definitely. But either way, the Marlins need offense. So, it'll be interesting to see what he ends up doing. But as of right now, I did see also the Yankees. There was a tweet earlier that the Yankees had maybe reached out. There's also the Padres. So I think the Rockies would be awesome, man. If you can go to the Rockies, I think that'd be really good. They could use something too. So I'm going to have to wait and see. Also, did I look at this earlier? Let's get to this as our next story. But we got a couple more here. Couple more. We've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot here. We got a couple more things on the Mets. We got a little something about Albert Pujols. But, Super Chat. Terrell Rice, what's going on? Pat Sewald on the M's is good college buddies with Bryant and has said multiple times that he is actively recruiting him to Seattle. You know, there was actually, before I move on from Chris Bryant, now that I think about it, there was actually something about Bryant and the Mariners today. So, okay, here we go. Let's go to Fansided. Let's see. Who reported that today? The Mariners' Chris Bryant chatter is heating up. So this was a tweet from earlier today. Yeah, it was from John Morosi at 5 o'clock. So John Morosi tweeted out that the Chris Bryant to Seattle chatter resumed in the baseball industry today. Jerry DiPoto told reporters earlier that he's looking to add an impact bat who fits at third base, left field, and or DH. Making any nominations, Mariners fans? Look, I've been saying this now for like a couple of years. I made a video. Go back on my channel. I did a how to fix the Mariners video a couple of years ago. And the icing on the cake, the last thing to do was to get Chris Bryant. That to me, he has made so much sense to me for the Mariners for a couple of years now. He just makes the most sense. They have a lot of guys as of right now. If you look at the Mariners right now. So at third, you have Abraham Toro. At second, you have Frazier. And left, you have Jake Fraley. So with Toro, you can move him around. You can move him to second. Frazier can play left. But in left, you have Jake Fraley right now, who I would like to see. I would like to see what he could do over a full season. He had an up and down year health-wise. But with Jake Fraley, man, if you wanted to make an upgrade, you could just have Chris Bryant. He can play left. I mean, the good thing here is that they have flexibility, and Chris Bryant fits perfectly with the Mariners. He can move around. So I think this is where he is going to end up going. I think he is a nice fit for the Phillies. But I think the Mariners, they need to go get a superstar guy, an impact guy. Chris Bryant is an impact kind of a guy. So it just makes the most sense to me. So again, John Morosi saying today, Jerry DiPoto, the chatter is heating up for Chris Bryant. Let's actually go to a couple more of these. This was an hour ago. The Seattle Mariners are prepared to do whatever it takes to sign a free agent slugger. Is this just based off of what Jerry DiPoto said? I don't know what they're basing this off of. However, no. Phillies, Giants, Mets. Yeah, the Mets. I wonder if they end up getting involved. But I didn't really get anything on that. Nothing really. What's going on with this one? Do they have another link here? No, just what John Morosi put. So they're all connected to this John Morosi tweet. But that's my pick. That's my pick. Chris Bryant to the Mariners. Chris Bryant to the Mariners. So let's take a look. We got a couple more things to talk about. We did already talk about the Mets starting pitching a little bit. They are looking for starting pitching. So supposedly Yusei Kikuchi. We got Luke Wheeler or So you got Luke Wheeler out there too. They are looking to add some starting pitching. So let's take a look here. Where is that tweet? Where is it? Wait, did I say Luke Wheeler? I meant to say Luke Weaver. That's what I was like. Wait a minute, that didn't sound right. Luke Weaver, that's right. I was like, wait, when I said Luke Wheeler, I was like, huh? Wait a minute, who's Luke? That was not his name? Luke Weaver, I'm sorry. It's been a long few days, everyone. I'm surprised my brain is even making it this far. But the Mets have done some background work on Diamondbacks righty Luke Weaver as New York continues to explore trade possibilities. So Andy Martino did report this. He had a right shoulder strain. So he only pitched around 65 innings last year. But yeah, bad 2020 season. So my thinking, it's interesting that they're looking at someone like Luke Weaver, where if we go pull him up, Luke Weaver, not Luke Wheeler. I knew that sounded weird as soon as I said it. But yeah, 13 starts last year. Not bad numbers. 4.25 ERA. FIP at a 4.4. So the thing that I find interesting is why the only reason I could see the Mets going after someone like him is because he's not going to cost anything. So if we go pull it up here, I guarantee he's not even going to cost $5 million. There's no way. Lonely wolf who howls alone at the moon. What do we got? Braves looking for starting pitching. Greinke? I think Greinke could be really nice. I could give them some innings. I think that'd be a really nice fit. But let's see here. With who we're talking about again? Oh yeah, Weaver. Not Luke Wheeler, Luke Weaver. So he cannot cost like anything. Oh, wait, I'm on the Mets. Hold on, let's go to the Diamondbacks. Oh, wow. Okay, so he's $8 million value. So his value has to be that high because he's probably under control. Yeah, he's got 2 more years of control. Not a free agent for a couple more years. So that's why I would imagine, because he's not going to cost that much. He's $8 million worth of value. So the Mets right now, they are top heavy in their farm system. So I don't know if they really want to part with those guys. But, you do have someone like Mauricio who is blocked. You could end up moving him to another position, but he is definitely someone that you could part with. So we'll have to wait and see if they go after Weaver here. But with Andy Martino, he posted there was something about Kikuchi as well. Was it another tweet? So he tweeted, the market for free agent starting pitcher Yusei Kikuchi is gaining momentum. Mets not the most aggressive team there right now. The funny thing with the Mets is that they have been connected with him. So it's kind of funny that now all of a sudden they're not one of the more aggressive teams. So, I mean, a lot of teams could use someone like Kikuchi. He had a bad second half last year, but he had a good second half. So if you're to take a look at the starting pitching rankings, who are some teams that could use some depth? The Yankees overall right now have the best starting pitching on paper, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out to be. But if we go down to like the bottom, I mean, honestly, I keep saying the Diamondbacks, but could you go get Kikuchi at a little more depth? The Rangers, I don't know if they do it because they just brought in Martin Perez. They definitely could. Not the Pirates, not the Orioles. Maybe the Twins. I think the Twins, that could be a good fit. So, honestly, I thought the Giants would have been pretty cool before Rodon because the Giants have been pretty good with getting guys on track. So, I thought Kikuchi would have been a pretty nice fit. But I would imagine the Giants probably made a phone call, but Kikuchi's probably asking for a lot. Maybe the Cubs, could they get him? The Nationals could use some starting pitching. The Rockies could. Could he go to the Rockies? Let me go, go to Baseball Savant here. We still got 700 people in the chat. You guys are awesome. Everyone, we are under 400 likes. My goodness, let's get to 500. 500 likes. Let's do it. 500 likes, everyone. We're at 375. 375. But with Kikuchi, he does have a slider. Sliders tend to do really well at Coors. Cutters, on the other hand, not so much. So, Darren Price, what's going on, my friend? Sam ZG, espresso time. Thank you, my friend. Oh, it's cold now. But, I don't know. Could the Rockies maybe get in? I think they could use starting pitching. They could use another guy. But, probably not the Cardinals. Maybe the Tigers? Maybe. Probably it doesn't go back to the Mariners, probably. Angels? They could always use some starting pitching. Reds, probably not. Marlins, no. Probably not the Red Sox. Probably not the Braves. Probably not the Blue. Well, maybe you could do the Blue Jays. Ross Stripling is your number 5 guy right now. I see him as more of like an opener, long reliever kind of a guy. So, well, the Giants, they just brought in Rodon, so that probably eliminates that. Could the Astros get involved? You know, they got, Lance McCullers Jr., Verlander, those guys, they are coming off injuries, so who knows what's going to happen. Verlander, I think, is going to be fine. But, Lance McCullers Jr., what's going to happen with him? DW King, thank you for subscribing. Maybe the White Sox. There was a report where the White Sox were, I don't know how accurate MLB Nerds is, but there was a report with the White Sox connected to Sean Manaea. So maybe the White Sox, they just lost Rodon, so maybe they could bring in Kikuchi. So get a left-hander in there. As of right now, you got Lance Lynn, Giolito, Cease, Keuchel, and Kopech. So I think Kikuchi could be something. Padres could always use some starting pitching depth. Their starting pitching depth last year ran really thin. And you got Clevenger coming back, but he's coming back from Tommy John. I think Kikuchi could be a nice fit for the Padres. I think the Mets they need a lefty. That makes sense for them. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that could use Kikuchi. So, Luke Weaver's an interesting one. I think the Mets are mainly looking at him because he's just going to be cheap. And, he's got control. He's been hurt. So his value is at an all-time low. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Also, Dave Roberts and the Dodgers, it looks like they're going to be coming to an agreement very soon on a contract extension. Dodger fans, let me know how you think about that. But there's also Tommy La Stella. He had left Achilles surgery this offseason. He's looking to be doing pretty good. So, but we got one more story here. One more story. I'll check real quick. Any new tweets? Wow. It's dead. I wonder if something's cooking. There hasn't been any new tweets in the last hour. Wow. All right. Well, J1228J has just subscribed. What's going on? How are we doing? But we got one more story here. And that is Mr. Albert Pujols. He's still kicking. He's looking for a new home. Albert Pujols, he's drawing some interest out there. Which is no surprise because you have the universal DH. Could you make a return to the Cardinals? Could the Cardinals maybe jump back in on Albert Pujols? Let's go take a look. Here we go. 3 teams are interested in Albert Pujols, according to Mark Feinsand. Per sources, 3 teams have expressed interest in Pujols. The addition of the DH to the National League has seemingly widened the market. So, who those 3 teams could be? I mean, I don't know. With Pujols, the thing is like he's not... He did okay with the Dodgers last year, but his on base was under 300. His slugging was a 460 with them. So he had 12 home runs. So he's still going to give you some power. He's still going to give you a little something. But when I'm looking at teams that could use a designated hitter, I mean, right off the bat, you know, why not finish your career with the Cardinals? You know, kind of like when Griffey went back to the Mariners, you know, why not just go finish it off? Go finish it off with the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's pull up here. Let's click out of some of these. I got too many tabs. Well, let's go to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are interesting because it really depends on if they keep Paul DeJong. MMA Fix has just subscribed. What's going on? So I wonder if Pujols is really a great fit. I don't know. You're looking at this lineup. You got righties all over the place. You got a couple of lefties on the bench. You got a couple of switch hitters. So I don't know if Pujols is really a great fit because Paul DeJong is slotted at DH. You got Sosa as short. I mean, could you have DeJong play short? Sosa can be like a utility guy. And then Pujols can, you know, rotate in and out for the DH spot. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't sound great to me. If I'm looking at some other teams, I mean, who could use a bat? Could he go to the Marlins? You know, the Marlins. We were talking about the Marlins earlier. You know, looking for offense. Maybe Pujols can, you know, that's a good veteran presence for the team. So, with, I don't know, when I'm looking at these teams, I mean, let's go to the rankings last year for slugging percentage. I mean, again, Pujols is not going to be a game changer at this point. But, you know, again, like I said, Miami, they need bats. I don't know, Diamondbacks, Rangers. Boston Productions. If someone signs in in 1 hour, I'll donate $10. Much love. Well, we need someone to sign. But I hope something happens. It is dead. I don't know. We haven't heard anything. Man. Like, there is just nothing going on. John Heyman hasn't tweeted. No one's tweeted. I mean, they just must be in negotiations and whatnot right now. So, but don't forget, we have all tomorrow too. We have all tomorrow. I'll definitely be live at some point tomorrow. But yeah, but getting back to Pujols here. I mean, when I'm looking at maybe the Brewers, he's definitely used to the Central Division. But I don't know what is he going to do all that much? Carlos, thank you for subscribing. So, the breakies. Pujols hit lefties decent last year. Let's go to his splits. That would make some sense. I would definitely think he had good numbers against lefties. Did I pass it? There we go. Oh yeah, he did do good against lefties last year. Hit 294, a 603 slugging, 336 on base. Those are very good numbers against lefties. So he's basically a platoon bat at this point. Really, I mean, against righties, he was awful. He had an even split. He had 150 plate appearances against righties and 146 against lefties. So, Nando 390. My wife's boyfriend says Freeman is just using the Dodgers as leverage against Atlanta, which that wouldn't surprise me. He probably just wants Atlanta to, drive up the price, because there have been players before that have done that. I would imagine Freeman wants to stay with the Braves. He is basically the Chipper Jones of this time for the Braves. So, Yeah, I know, Raymond. My wife's boyfriend, man. I'm getting tired. I didn't even notice when I read that at first, and then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute. My wife's boyfriend? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Something's not clicking there. But who are some teams that could use a left or a right-handed bat? Let's go to the split leaderboards. Who did bad against left-handed pitching last year? So let's do as right-handed hitters versus left-handed pitching. Who needs more offense from that side? Well, same teams. Miami. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pujols go to Miami. He wouldn't cost anything. So I could see that, especially with a DH. VPCZX, thanks for your content. It helps me out mentally. Hey, man, thank you for being here, my friend. You helped me out tremendously, my friend. So, but yeah, you got Miami. Surprisingly, I wonder if the Braves, I don't know. I mean, if the Braves lose Freeman, could you add Pujols? I mean, I don't know. But the Padres, I know they got. Could you have Pujols platoon with Hosmer? What was Hosmer's? What were his numbers against right-handed pitching? Hosmer was pretty good last year. He wasn't bad. It's just his slugging was low. He had a good on base, but the slugging was under 400. So, what were his stats against right-handers? Or against lefties? I guess around the same. 262 batting average compared to 272 against righties. His on base was a lot lower than it was against righties. So he definitely sees right-handed pitching better. Could you have Pujols platoon with Eric Hosmer? I don't know if that's... Do you want to have someone that's being paid this much money be a platoon bat? I don't know about that. I see in the chat, Atlas the Ghost. I mean, if you lose Freeman and you don't get Olson, you could go get Rizzo, and then you could go sign Pujols. That's what they did last year when they lost Acuna. They brought in like these, lefty and righty bats to kind of replace that, or at least try to replace that production. How did Rizzo do against lefties last year? I know Rizzo did better against lefties last year. 325 average. He was awesome against left-handed pitching. Wow, he killed it. So, nope. You don't need to platoon him. So, I would say for Pujols, I'd say the Marlins, maybe the Padres, I don't know about, and maybe the Braves. I think the Marlins make the most sense. They need all the bats. I think Pujols would be a nice veteran presence for that clubhouse. Or could he go back to the Dodgers? Could go back to the Dodgers maybe. I mean, why not? So he did pretty well there. But we're just kind of waiting for something here. Anyone? Anyone? Is there anything going on? No, there is nothing. Let me go back to MLB trade rumors. Let me go back to the front page. Adam Conley is going to retire after 11 seasons. Adam Conley is retiring. So this was, I don't know if this has to do with the tweet that Heyman put out. Suzuki has reportedly drawn interest from upwards of a dozen teams this winter. Mariners, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, and Red Sox are the most prominent, like Heyman said. 4 of those clubs, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, and Boston, have been known entrants in the bidding for some time. A report from Nikon Sports in January named the 4 clubs as among those likely to remain factors until he chooses a destination. The Dodgers, though, hadn't been strongly linked to Suzuki until this point. No word on the Angels here, so I don't know if MLB nerds got that one wrong. Garrett Mashburn just subscribed. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? But haven't heard anything about Freeman. Says here, Freeman is expected to make his decision within the next 24 hours. I would imagine Freeman probably sleeps on it. If you're still here at 10:30 at night, could he end up sleeping on it? You know? I don't know. Let's Frank Ryan, $1.99. Whitlock, starter, reliever, or closer? I would keep him at the back of that bullpen. I would definitely. He is like your, I would say he's like your super utility reliever. He can close games, set up. He can come in at any point. I keep Whitlock in the bullpen. I would have him as like your main guy for closing, but I wouldn't be afraid to bring him in at another time in the game as well. Let's see. Barrett Sally, Alex Anthropoulos works in silence. I hope that's the case right now with Freddie Freeman. Hey, remember that happened with Marcell Ozuna? Marcell Ozuna came out of nowhere. Everyone, we're at 435 likes. We are 65 likes away from 500 likes for the stream. Let's hit that like button, everyone. Let's hit that like button. But yeah, let me go. Let me see if there's any tweets out there with Freddie Freeman. Yeah, might call it here soon, everyone. I'm not seeing anything. I wonder if the Rays are going to get involved with Freeman. Remember that report a couple of days ago about the Rays offering something? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I would imagine this is probably a pretty tough decision because Freeman is an Atlanta Brave, man. You know, this is this is the next Chipper Jones for that organization. I'm sure it's really tough. I bet he wants to stay. But I also think, with Freeman, at the same time, he understands his value, so it's, he probably is finding it kind of tough to walk away. So he probably wants to stay. I would imagine. He loves the Braves, man. He loves that organization. He loves that city. So, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We're at 477 likes. Everyone, we were within 25 likes of 500. I don't want to get out of here until we get 500. But I don't know, everyone. We're not seeing anything. And we're kind of sitting in the silence here. Did have Brandon Workman. Actually, someone asked me a question yesterday that who are some minor league signings. I did mention Brandon Workman. So he signed with the Rangers today. You know, this is a guy, man, when he was with the Red Sox a few years ago, he's been with the Red Sox forever. You know, going back to like 2013. And he was really good at times, but then just really bad. I hope he can get his career back on track. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, we are 9 likes away, everyone. 9 likes away from 500. 9 likes away from 500 likes. Oh, Frank Ryan. Who replaces Buck at Fox? Has to be Orsillo, right? Oh, man. Orsillo is so good. And I think he has shown... I knew how good he was when he was with the Red Sox. And that's not bias, man. It clearly shows he has one of the best voices in the game. Padres fans have to love him. Have to love him. So, but I would love Orsillo to go to Fox, man. Joe Buck, man, going to ESPN. God, man. What a dumpster fire of a decision, man. I'm just not a fan of ESPN at all. Oh, no. No. Okay, first off, that name. Oh, my God. Hepatitis, see you later. Oh, my God. No, I beg you. Do not put Matt Vasgersian on Fox. I will run into oncoming traffic. No way, man. If I hear Matt Vasgersian say Santa Maria ever again, I will lose my mind. I will explode. No, not doing it. Nope. But alrighty, everyone. I'm gonna get out of here. There's nothing going on. I guess if anything does happen, I'll start up another stream. But as of right now, I mean, we've gone through all of the rumors, all of the signings, all of the reports from today. And I have talked about, I think, everything I can. Everything. Correa, Freeman, Olson, Story, Kershaw, Rodon, Chris Bryant, Conforto, the Mets, Pujols. I mean, we've gone through it all. Andrelton Simmons, we even talked about him. We've done everything we can here tonight, everyone. There's just nothing else happening. But we did have a lot to talk about. So I'm glad we got all of that out of the way. I'm sure tomorrow is going to be another busy day. We're going to be right back here tomorrow. I am sure a lot's going to happen. So be on the lookout. If anything does happen tonight, then, I'll go live one more time. So be on the lookout, everyone. But have yourself a good night. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the new members. Did we get to 500 likes? Hey, we got to 500 likes. But yeah, thank you to all the new subscribers, new members, all the super chats. Thank you so much. But yeah, be on the lookout for another stream maybe tonight if anything happens, or tomorrow. So have a good night, everyone. Have yourself a good day tomorrow if I don't see you tonight. And I'll talk to you next time.